experience of awe, maybe, say like kind of spiritual states is far more routine in those states, like you describe in Mindfulness for Dummies this practice of kind of mindfully eating a raisin, which I think is I think you describe it as like pretend you're like a Martian and you've never seen a raisin before. And it really like gets to something really profound, which is that we think raisins are dull and boring because we're familiar with them, but objectively they're not. They're not any less worthy of awe as the Grand Canyon if you really look at it with fresh eyes, I think.
That's so true. Yeah, no, that's a great way of putting it. And yeah, that's the experience I had when I first learned mindfulness. It was, first of all, it was the awe of actually seeing the world in a different way. And then just, connecting with the sky or the tree or a raisin. It's interesting, this raising exercise, for anyone who hasn't done it, you get everyone sitting in a circle and you get them to, first of all, look at the raisin, and they're like, okay. And then they would hold it up and they would get them to rotate it and then listen to it. And they're, oh, that's weird. I can actually hear something there. Some people say, oh, it's saying eat me. And then you'd like smell it, and then you'd notice that actually as I smell it, it's reminding me of all these memories of what my grandma said this when I was eating my raisins. And then eventually you slowly get them to eat it. And it's, for a lot of people, it's a really wow experience, because just taking a few minutes to eat a raisin, the flavor, it's not, because we think we taste in the mouth. But the mouth is just a physical location, right? It's actually the flavors in consciousness. So if you close your eyes and you actually taste is everywhere. It fills your conscious awareness, that container. If you want to call it a container, it's everywhere. Where is taste? It's everywhere. So it's an incredible experience. And some people say, oh my God, I don't think I need to eat anything else for dinner. I feel like I've really eaten. And I remember one lady, she said she'd been eating the same cereal for like 10 years. And then she went home in the morning the next day, ate her cereal, and she just found it disgustingly sweet. And she was complaining because it took her 2 weeks to find a new cereal that she could eat every morning. I'm like, no, that's actually a good thing. So yeah, I like that. Yes, there's the sense of, I love what you say about surrender, as surrender being almost like a core element of mindfulness, because we're not in the state of surrender normally. We're in the state of being caught up or attached, as the Buddha would say, attached to whatever is the content of that consciousness. And by practicing mindfulness or meditation, whatever you want, you're learning and you're practicing stepping back into that container. And then there's the awe element too. I think there was something else I was going to say. It'll come back to me later. But yeah, no, I really like your insights on that.
Yeah, I think also for me, it reminded me of I was on sort of 10-day Goenka style Vipassana meditation retreat, and we would have lunch facing the wall in this like lovely hut. It was all kind of wood paneled, and it was on about the 4th day or something. I was just kind of eating my porridge, and I looked up at the wood, and it was just, I thought, wow, this is the most beautiful, like intricate kind of psychedelic pattern wood I've ever seen in my life. Like they've clearly chosen this because we have so little stimulation. They've clearly thought we'll invest in some fancy wood to make it kind of entertaining. And I was looking at it for a while, and I was like, what is it that's so different about this wood to normal wood? And I was trying to remember what normal wood looked like, and I was like, wait a minute, this is normal wood. This is what wood always looks like. But right now I'm just in this state where I'm paying attention. It's just like I'm seeing this infinite landscape of variation. And in the same meal I was peeling an orange, and I think oranges in particular, just when you're meditating on retreat, can look just like these unfathomably amazing jewels, and you're like, I get to eat this and it tastes amazing. And yeah, I mean, this is the kind of, maybe that's another reason people might want to meditate is, we're all looking for some kind of well-being in life, and if you can have kind of ecstatic bliss at eating an orange, that seems like a pretty good kind of level to be tuned into.
But yeah, that's such a great story. Yeah, it reminds me of all sorts of other experiences like that. It reminds me of one monk, actually. He shared the story of how he was doing walking meditation. He was doing it for hours, and so he was walking very, very slowly. So this is another way of cultivating mindfulness on a retreat, and just slowly feeling his feet on the floor. And as he was doing this mindful walking, he could hear something like in the distance. His name is Ajahn Brahm. He's like, it just felt like something really, really distant, and he was just in absolute bliss, just literally just feeling his feet going onto the grass and on the mud. It was just ecstatic for him. And then gradually that voice got louder, like, Ajahn Brahm, and gradually, over a few minutes, it became louder and louder. And as he finally came out of this meditation, there was a guy literally standing next to him, screaming in his ear, saying that he's supposed to be going somewhere else. And these are the kind of states that we can get into, actually, which is amazing. And I think if it's possible for everyone, or as many people as possible, to at least have a period of time when they go off, it doesn't have to be a 10-day silent, but a certain amount of period of time, which is almost like a sensory deprivation, isn't it? Like you're literally looking at a wall eating porridge. There's almost no stimulus there. And then the smallest stimulus can give you so much satisfaction.
Yeah, and I think it unveils, as we said before, about it not being the case that raisins are objectively boring. It unveils something really profound, that like the world isn't the way we often take it to be. But